Hello and welcome to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. Here on our farm in southwestern Kentucky, we do a lot of things. We try to grow a lot of our own food, but the main deal that we have going on here is our dairy goat herd. So we're not getting a whole lot of milk right now, but we're getting plenty of milk to make some awesome ferments. Some of you may have seen our previous video for this collaboration where we made kefir out of our goat's milk. And today our contribution into the Fermented February collaboration is Chevre. And if this is the first time you've heard about this collaboration, let me give you a quick rundown. Basically, there are several creators, and I'm going to list them in the description box below, that are making a video every day in the month of February, and it's all things fermentation. There's many different types of ferments, not just dairy ferments, but fruit ferments, vegetable ferments, a few different drink ferments. It's absolutely worth checking out. I'll put the playlist in the description box below. And one of the really amazing things that's going on is every week on Mondays, my friend Anna over at the Fermented Homestead is doing giveaways, and she is doing giveaways in partnership with Haas Tools, who is sponsoring Fermented February this year, which I think is the coolest thing. So in order to enter to win something as part of the collaboration, you're going to want to go to the playlist and all of the channels in the description box. Make sure you're subscribed to all of the channels, go to the playlist, make sure that you're watching and commenting on all the videos, because those comments are going to be what enters you to win those awesome prizes. So thank you to Haas Tools and thank you to Anna over at the Fermented Homestead for putting on this awesome collaboration, and let's get to making this cheese. So it wasn't too long ago that I remember that cream cheese at the grocery store was non-existent. There was some kind of weird cream cheese shortage, and it was during that time my family and I started using our homemade goat's milk Chevre as a replacement for cream cheese, and it's actually a really good replacement for cream cheese. I know there's a couple different ways to make cream cheese. This is just one of them, but it happens to be one of the simplest in my opinion. So today for this recipe, I'm actually using raw goat's milk. You can make this recipe with pasteurized goat's milk, or you can use pasteurized cow's milk. All you really need in order to create this fermentation is some kind of vessel like I have here. You want it to be glass or something that's not going to inhibit the growth of the good bacteria. So you don't really want to use something like stainless steel, but glass and certain types of plastic are fine. And you just want to have something that's going to cover the ferment. It does not have to seal. But the main deal here is a Chevre culture. I bought this from the New England cheese making company. It comes with 5 different packets on the inside, so I am able to make 5 gallons worth of cheese, or make cheese out of 5 gallons worth of milk. I have not tried to use Chevre and basically impregnate another culture with the cheese itself. That's something that I feel like could be done as long as the Chevre is a really strong culture in and of itself. So in the directions for the Chevre, it says to pasteurize the milk before you make this cheese. I do not do that. I find that when I pasteurize my goat's milk first and then make the Chevre, I just get a really blasé, tasteless product. Even though there's a lot of good cultures in this packet here, it just doesn't have the kind of flavor that I'm looking for out of my cheese. So I don't pasteurize my cheese, and it lends a lot of flavor. It's really important if you're going to be using raw milk that you use the freshest milk possible, because you want to give these cultures the best opportunity to overpower the cultures that are already in raw milk. So all I did last night to get this thing going was heat the milk up to about 86 degrees on the stove. If you don't have a thermometer that really can tell you exactly when you're at 86, like mine, I just kind of look for the needle to be in between 85 and 90 degrees and then remove it from the heat. At that point, you can sprinkle on the Chevre culture, let it rehydrate for a couple minutes, mix in, and then place in your fermentation vessel. And then this just has to sit on the counter and thicken up for about 12 hours. It's been around 15. I've let this go for 24 hours before, and it's been perfectly great. So when I made the kefir video for this collaboration, there was a lot of people that said that dairy ferments scare them. And I guess I understand that, but one thing that really has me trusting these dairy ferments is you really can tell when milk is bad. You can smell when milk is bad, and if it smells bad, don't eat it, don't drink it. Generally, if it smells like sweet, like yogurt, or it smells good, it's probably good and safe to eat, and this smells amazing. It has a very, very yogurty smell to it, and it's a little bit hard to see, but I'm gonna try to get it to come up on camera. It has thickened up quite a lot. There's a little bit of whey swimming around in there, and there's a whole lot of cheese. So the goal for us right now that this has cultured overnight is to strain out the whey. We want to get a nice creamy cheese that's not super watery. So I have a moistened towel over here, and it's inside a colander, and I've got a decently large vessel here to catch all the whey. So what I'm going to do is gently pour the contents straight in. There's a lot. Look at that. There's a lot of cheese in here. Holy moly. So I've made this cheese a lot of times before, but normally I don't use whole milk. I used whole milk this time. Usually I just use skim milk from the refuse milk that is left over from making butter. But when you use whole milk, you get a whole bunch of cheese. Holy crap. Okay. I don't know if I have enough colander space for all of it. I'll have to hang a second bag. Wow, good problems. At the same time though, I am milking 3 Nigerian dwarf dairy goats, and there's something about that breed of goat that really likes to put a very high quality milk in the pail that lends an awful lot of cheese when you go to make it. This is great. And our goal here, like I said, is to get most of this watery whey out of the cheese. We want it to come together and be nice and creamy without being super liquidy. So what I am going to do is actually tie this bag together, and I'm going to tie this bag, this little satchel of cheese, to my cabinet handle up here to allow things to drain. So my favorite way to tie the bags is tie together 2 opposing corners of this muslin like I did, and then I'm going to take one of the other corners and slip it underneath the knot, so that when I tie these 2 sides together, this knot isn't just sitting down in the cheese. The cheese will get all in the knot, and it's kind of a mess to clean up. And so this is a really, really useful tip. So you see up here how there's a few little holes leading to the outside world up here. I want to close these up with a clothespin. I don't want to get any fruit flies or anything else flying into our cheese while this sits here and drains. You can kind of speed up the process by giving it a gentle squeeze every so often, but really this is just going to sit here and drain for a good 4 to 8 hours. We want a lot of that whey to come out, and it all kind of depends on your preference for how much whey you drain. And this might be something that you kind of have to do trial and error, but if you find that you take your cheese down later and maybe it's a little bit too dry or too crumbly, you can add in a little bit more of the whey and bring it back up to moisture. So I'm going to get the rest of this bagged up and hanging, and then we'll come back when all of the whey is drained out. Alrighty, so it's been around 4 hours, and I've done a little squeezing to get the cheese to be about the texture and consistency that I like. So salt really is optional, but I think that it's an important ingredient not to skip. It really helps bring out the flavor. So I just added a teaspoon, and I'm going to taste as I go because I usually get a lot less cheese than this, so I may need to add a little bit more. But if you're finding you're adding a lot of salt to your cheese, sometimes cheese just needs it. So go slow and add the salt to your taste preference. 1 teaspoon was perfect for this amount. And I could add in herbs or maybe some dried fruit. Really the options are endless, but I'm gonna leave this plain just so it's super versatile. You can always add stuff like that later on. And as I mentioned before, at this point, if you feel like the cheese maybe is a little bit too crumbly or it's not creamy enough for your liking, you can add in more of the whey to bring it back to a more moist texture, or it's really great to add cream or milk as well. In the past, I have put some of the Chevre inside muffin containers, little silicone muffin pans, and placed it in the freezer. And at that point, you're able to pop out the individual little cheeses, vacuum seal them, or simply put them in a freezer safe bag. And the cheese freezes very, very well, and it thaws out very, very well. I have noticed that when I do thaw it out, sometimes it's a little bit more crumbly than when I put it in. And like I mentioned before, adding a little bit of milk or a little bit of whey or cream brings that cheese right back to life. Our favorite way to eat the Chevre cheese is how we're preparing it this morning for breakfast. We use it usually on bagels, but we didn't buy bagels this week, so I made sourdough bread and put a fried egg on top. Absolutely delicious. So we have a lot of leftover whey, and this is something that has a lot of practical uses even if you don't have a homestead. So what I normally do is actually just feed this to my pigs, or I'll put it in our compost pile and allow it to feed the garden. But even if you don't have those things, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this whey, and it can help aid you on your fermentation journey if you're new to fermentation. This is considered a sweet whey because we didn't use any type of vinegar or acid to separate the curds and whey and make the cheese. This is a very sweet whey, and we can use it in many different ways. I'm going to read a little bit from the Cultures for Health website. You can use it to reconstitute fruit juice and add nutritional value. Use it as a starter culture when you're fermenting your vegetables. Make whey lemonade. I've done this before. It is very, very good. Add it to yogurt or in smoothies and shakes to provide more vitamins, minerals, and proteins. Use as a cooking liquid for potatoes, rice, grits, pasta, and grains. We've done this before. It makes the pasta a little bit sweet, so know that ahead of time because that may not be what you want in your dish. You can drink it straight, which you absolutely can. That's what our chickens do. Make lacto-fermented drinks such as ginger ale and limeade. So it's a lot like the whey lemonade up above, but it looks like this one might be fermented, so maybe a little bit bubbly. I've never done that before. Whoa, crap. Hello, this is Heather. I'm good, how are you? New online credentials, you said? I see the first question, yes. Do you mind if I ask you a personal question? Do you have any children? Yes, I do. I have 4. How do you feed your children? So do we. And we feed our children out of money out of this account. The money that you're trying to steal feeds my children. And I hope the next time you look at your children, you think of mine. Okay? Think of mine. Imagine if somebody was trying to do this to you. It's sick. And I hope you find a real 9-to-5. Yeah, they're trying to get the credentials through the text.
Yeah.
Now I'm shook and I can't figure out how to close the video. So that phone call that I got while I was trying to tell you guys about the whey, it came in on my phone and looked like it was coming from our bank. And the guy was talking very eloquently about banky things and eventually wanted my login information. And this is a huge red flag. The banks are never going to ask you for login information in any form. And so be aware that they can use caller ID masks and look like they are coming from your bank when they call. The best thing to do if you are ever concerned about scams on your account is to hang up, go get your debit card from the bank that you bank with, look at the back of that debit card and call the phone number on the back of that card and ask to talk to a representative from your actual bank and see if there's anything going on with your account. This is the second time that I've received a call like that really, it had me going for a few minutes. And that scares me because I worked in banking for many years, and I feel like if anybody is going to really catch on to it quickly, it would be me. And the fact that they could talk me through for several minutes and I don't know what's going on, that scares me. So Levi encouraged me to leave that part in this video because I think it is good. I think it could help somebody. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to enjoy my breakfast. So if you have any other way to make cream cheese at home, I would love to hear it. This is just one way. I know somebody had said you could strain kefir to make cream cheese, and I think the different cultures could give different textures and different sweetnesses, and so I look forward to trying more options. But beware of scammers, enjoy your cream cheese, enjoy the collaboration, and I'll see you next time.